Pacific. So thanks for being on. Thanks for being on with us today. I'm super excited as we do have a special guest who will be joining us on how to get started fast as a brand new agent. I think it's a really important topic just because there are a lot of new agents, there's a lot of new people getting started. And what I've noticed throughout my time in the insurance industry is sometimes we have high highs, we have low lows. We want to always just make sure that we're able to kind of stay even keeled, so to say. And I think that kind of hearing from other people can help us at times. So I hope that this is a helpful call for all of you guys today. But before we do go ahead and start with that special guest who's going to be Rami Hamadi, we're going to go ahead and do some recognition for the week. So Christina is going to get that up and going. As most of you guys know, I'm not too tech savvy. Evidently can't even play a slideshow, but I can sell insurance. So, all right, so welcome to the team call. So what's important to know, I know I say this each and every week and I will continue to, just as a friendly reminder. So the week starts today. So we're going into week 4 of November. So it is going to be a 5-week turn-in December. However, it's important to know that the day before Thanksgiving, so this upcoming Wednesday, is the last day to submit an issue pay business for the month of November if you're gunning for a goal, which I know most of you guys are. So with that being said, day before Thanksgiving, let's get everything issued. And also just want to touch on some of the carriers will be closed or closing early on Wednesday. So if you have business that needs to be, it has a pending requirement or whatever it might be, just get that to the carrier as soon as possible so that it counts towards your issue pay numbers for this month. All right, and huge shout out to Yori Her for being the top issue paid producer in week 1 of November. So not a unfamiliar face, but I can't even express how much I love working with Yori. She's just dedicated, hardworking, motivated. She never makes excuses. She's about it. She knows what she wants out of this. And I think that's really key. It's like, if we all sit here and ask ourselves, like, what do we want, right? All of our answers are going to be a little bit different. But if the answer is like, I don't know what I want, then it's going to be really hard for you to pick that phone up and dial. It's going to be really hard for you to get in, like, have some clarity of what you want right now. Like, what do you want going into December? What do you want to end with November week 4? Like, how intense are you working to get to that goal or to get what you want? And, it's like, where are we at now? Where do we want to be? And what are we willing to give up to get there? And I think that Yori's a prime example of she's just willing to sacrifice things if that means that it's going to help and benefit her business. So huge shout out to you, Yori. Love seeing this each and every week. And then shout out to the top 5 issue paid agents for week 1 of November. So again, this is just the first week of November, as those are the only numbers that we have now. As most of you guys know, corporate can be a little bit behind. But number 5, we have Miss Judy Watson at about 6,400. We have Zach at 7,300. We have Landon at, let's just call it 8,000. Let's be fair to Landon, right? We have Rolene at 8,200. And we have Yori at 14,600. So shout out to the top 5. Not surprised to see a lot of you guys in there, but love seeing new names. Love seeing Rolene in there. Love seeing Landon in there. Zach, Judy, Yori, love you guys too, but just excited to see some new names in there as well. So shout out to everybody that's top 5. And then first time writers for week 1 of November were Alex and Heather. So huge shout out to you guys. I know both of you guys have been, busting it in the field. And I know that you guys have so many more policies to come. So super excited to see you guys writing your first pieces of business in week 1 in November. So way to go. And then November week 1, issue paid producers over 3,000. We have Tony F at 3,000. We have Shelly at 3,400. Lupio at 3,900. Myself at 4,700. Christopher Shin at 4,900. Judy Watson at 6,500. Zach at 7,300. Landon at 8. Rolene at 82. And Yori at 14,500. I just want to pause here really quickly. So like looking at just 1 week, it's funny because sometimes as producers, like we'll go in the field and we'll be like, oh, today was an awful day, right? Like I only wrote 2 apps and one was for, 460 and the other one was for, 816. It's like, we got to think about what we're saying there. we made more on our bad day than most people are going to be making in, a week. So sometimes you just have to take a step back and, be the outsider looking in, so to say, when we do have those off days or that off week. It always makes up for itself, but still don't forget, how much money we're actually making literally to serve and help families while helping our own. So way to go, guys. All right, and then newly licensed agents, super exciting, so much growth coming in. So we have Rob S, we have Anthony H, Cody T, Chris F, Keith B, and Kemi A. So super excited to see you guys as first-time writers coming soon for sure. So excited for all of you guys. And then top weekend producer for November week 3, Miss Judy Watson at about $13,000. So Judy never goes unnoticed. She always works hard. She doesn't make excuses. She's there for everyone. She's there for her team. She supports, and it really is just good to see Judy growing, So way to go, Judy. Super proud of you. Super proud of what you're doing and your whole entire group. So way to be, Judy. And then just to kind of wrap up, so upcoming events. So this is super important. Each and every person on this team, I would love to have you at this event. If you're going to be at the event, please shoot me a message, as we are getting our speakers scheduled together. And there's certain, people that I would love to have, you speak at the event. I just want to make sure that we're assigning proper topics. As we are doing this with FFL Mapalo, which is, Josh Malanza's group, which is super exciting. As they join us on Dial Team, we kind of all work together, which is pretty cool. But this conference, it's going to be huge for our group. And I think it's a great place to kind of get familiar, recognize like faces around you, especially if you're in the Northeast vicinity, like you're in Mass, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, like any of these surrounding areas, like get yourself there. You won't be mad at yourself. And also I want to go ahead and mention that before this, we'll be doing Dial Team at the office from 8 to 11 or 11:30, and then we'll pop over there around 12 for the conference to get started. So if you can get there, shoot me a text, let me know you're going to be there. If you're going to have some people that are going to be there, same thing. I want to make sure that, everybody has their chance to speak if that's the case. So that is that. Thank you, Christina. All right, and now, so super excited to have Rami on with us today. Rami, you're with us?
Yes, hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. All right, so I'm not going to tell Rami's story for him. However, Rami came into this business part-time, still is part-time, and is issuing, 20, probably 30 grand this month. So very well paced. So I think that when I kind of take a step back and like look in, it's like, who gets started fast, right? Like I always say, move fast and break things, right? It's like, you got to move fast and you got to mess things up in this business. Till this day, I'm not perfect. I mess things up all the time, and that's okay because we fix them. That's essentially the point. So I think that Rami's a prime example of somebody who did move fast and break things, and he wasn't ashamed of it, because guess what? It got him up, it got him moving. So Rami, just to kind of hit the call off, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, and what you do for work outside of Family First Life.
Sure. So my name is Rami Hamadi. I'm sure as most of you guys know. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, but I lived in Lebanon for a little bit overseas. I currently work full-time in the hospital and part-time with FFL. I'm an exercise physiologist in the hospital, and I'm currently enrolled in med school as well.
Okay, awesome. So you have a lot going on outside of FFL.
Correct.
All right, I hear you. So just to kind of start the call off, because it is going to be about like getting started fast. And that's something that, would you agree that you did?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Awesome. So like, how did you find Family First Life?
And so how I found Family First Life. So I knew Marisa for a while. I've known her for over 10 plus years. And I was just scrolling through Instagram one day, just looking through social media like we all do, just kind of like going through the motions. And I kept seeing all these posts and all these big sales, daily sales, new agent hired, etc. I'm like, what is this? So I decided just to reach out to Marisa and say, hey, what do you do for a living? She reached out. She said, hey, I work with Family First Life. You should just check, go and know more about the company, go on our website, FFL Solidity. Checked it out a bit. I still was a little bit confused. I was like, all right, so I get it. It's insurance, but what exactly? So she said, here, watch this video, send me a VDM. I watched it and I was really intrigued. And I was like, you know what? I actually like this idea. I think that as I already like helping people, it's more of the same thing, just helping families a different way. So I reached out and I said, hey, how can I get started? And then from then on, she helped me get started.
Awesome. So with that being said, you got licensed pretty quickly. You were again, you were working, you're in school, you got a lot going on. How long did it take you to actually go through your pre-licensing course? And like what kind of built that urgency behind it for you?
Okay, so it took me about 2 weeks, I'd say, to finish the pre-licensing course and get licensed. The urgency really is whenever I do something, I like to really do it well. And I'm really competitive by nature, so I just wanted to make sure I got it done. And I would watch YouTube videos and just see like other agents how they did, and everyone said, make sure you finish it within 14 days because I don't know the exact number. I'm sure you do, Marisa. I'm sure there's other people on the call. I guess if you take the test after pre-licensing by a certain period of time, your pass rate drops significantly. And I did not want that to happen. I like to really do things well the first time, as you just said, and I want to make sure I passed it. Mind you guys, I failed it the first time, so shame on me. But then I ended up taking it again, and I passed it.
Well, that's a prime example, right? So right from the jump, move fast and break things, right? You went in, you took the exam, and you said, you know what, I failed it, right? I failed the exam too, by the way, 4 times. Not proud of it, but I did. I thought I was school smart. I guess I had a reality check. But anyways, point is he was already moving fast, right? He said, okay, they said 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure I have it in 2 weeks. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rami, when you had taken it the second time, it was still essentially in a 14-day span, right?
Yeah.
You
I took the
basically
second test in 3 days. 3 days
I was going
after.
to say, you basically rescheduled it for the next time you could.
Yeah, the fastest they sent. We had to wait 24 hours to reschedule it. I rescheduled it in 12, and then after that, I took it 2 days later. So yeah.
Awesome. And once you got licensed, there can be like kind of that weird transition of like, okay, now I'm licensed, now it's real, right? Like now I have this piece of paper that says I can go into someone's home and I can help them with insurance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you got licensed, how long did it take you to get on the phones? And like, what was your thought process? Was it like, I want to kind of take my time and dig in a little bit more to these YouTube videos and, or was it like, I just want to get on the phone?
So it took me, I got my America writing number, I believe 7 days after I applied for it with the contracting, and then I received my AIG number soon after. So the minute I got those first writing numbers, I began right away. So I think within 7 to 10 days, and I started right off the gate. I just wanted to get going. From what I saw at least, I didn't think I needed to learn too much about it. I knew that if I followed the system, it would work. And just based off the fact of the pure numbers, there's so many people in this industry with Family First Life who are succeeding from all different walks of life. So I truly took that to heart. And I said, if anyone can do it, I can. So let me just, as you said, move fast and break things and see what happens.
Awesome, I love it. And that goes along with like self-belief, right? I know that you have like people around you that believe in you, but what I also know, and correct me if I'm wrong, is, like when you think and you take a step back and you were looking into this business, did you believe that you could do it?
So in the beginning, I knew I could do it, but of course I would be lying to you guys if I said that I thought I was going to be 100% right off the gate, like killing it, doing really well. I knew that it was something that was simple, but it was still hard work. So I believed in myself, but I did not know what the outcome would be, fair to say.
Okay, that's perfect. And Rami, if you don't mind just kind of going through like, and we're going to kind of take a step back to, dials and things of that sort, but when you went into your first day in the field, kind of like, what did that look like for you? Was it pretty? Was it not?
It was not pretty. So my first day in the field, I was really happy, really excited. I remember my first dial session, I believe I booked a decent amount of appointments, upwards around 15 appointments. So, after seeing that, I was like, what, I have a good schedule. Let's see how it goes. And mind you, it did not work out how I thought. I thought that I could beat the system or make up my own system, try to not make up policies, but I didn't understand product information. I didn't understand anything that I was doing. I just knew there was term life and whole life, and there's living benefits in term. So what did this person want? So I remember my first home, I think I've said this before, she was actually Lebanese. So in my mind, I thought because I'm from Lebanon and Lebanese, that's it. Like I'm walking there, it's gonna be an easy sale. She didn't even let me in her home. She kept me down in the lobby, met me outside, wouldn't let me come upstairs, and literally the whole time, I was just so confused. But the one thing I remember just to call them out blind. So I remember calling you, Marisa, and just saying, hey, this is this lady, XYZ, it's her help. What do you want? And she had nobody. She had no family, nothing. And then I was just lost. I didn't know how to pivot. I didn't know what to say to her. I didn't even know to pitch the living benefit part. I just said, all right, I'm out. So I left.
Okay, and then like later that night, I believe you met with a woman named Joanne, right?
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, yes, yes.
And when you sat with Joanne, right? And the reason why I'm pointing this out, it's not to humiliate Rami in any way, because by the way, anything that he's saying, I probably have like, you know, messed it up 80 times worse. But this is a prime example of basically, again, moving fast and breaking things. So you sat with Joanne, Rami, and what did that look like, just real quick?
All right, so I sat with Joanne, and basically I was challenging her, asking her, how much do you want to pay and how much do you think it costs? Not how much will it cost or what, or let's see what you qualify for, and I'll tell you based off your age and health what your HVAC is going to bring to you. No, I asked her, I'm like, what do you want to pay for it? And she responds, you tell me, Rami. I'm like, no, what do you want to pay for it, Joanne? It's like, Rami, what do you tell me? You're the underwriter. I'm like, no, Joanne, how much do you want to pay for it? How much does it cost? I don't know, anyway, $30 to $100. I just randomly said a random number, not running any quotes, nothing, a blanket statement. And it did not work out, to say the least.
Right. And it didn't work out because at that point, you know, $30 to $100, which is kind of funny, like for all of us that have been in homes, like, you know, like that's a very big range, right? To say the least. And then Ron, when you were in the quote, it wasn't $30 to $100, right?
No, it was not.
But you'll never do that again, right?
Never. Nope. No, I know.
Okay.
Check the quote.
Beautiful. Done. We checked that box, right? So going back to the phones, right? So you got on the phones pretty much as soon as you had that Americal writing number, you had your AIG writing number, and you had paper applications with Mutual of Omaha, and you had paper applications with CFG. So you were like, I feel prepared. I have 4 carriers going into the field. I'll have prosperity soon. It's not that big of a deal. And you went out and you did your thing. When you got on the phones, what was your mindset when you were first, you know, looking at the leads and, you know, or let's take a step back of what kind of leads were you working?
So I was working all CRM leads, as I'm still working CRM leads, all pushed off the CRM. I bought all kinds, internet, final expense, used mortgage, aged mailers, whatever was available, I got. Whatever finance I had to spend, I bought the leads and I just began dialing. And I remember my thought process as I was dialing was, in the beginning I was a little bit nervous because, mind you, I'm not one that's shy to talk to by any means. If anyone meets me in person, they can kind of tell that I can talk to anybody really. But it was more based on the fact that it's something new that I still was not familiar with. So I didn't know what to expect. And I've noticed that really, if you don't have any expectations in this industry, you just kind of want to go with the flow and roll with the punches. And that way you can kind of just work yourself out. So I just remember dialing, and the one thing that kept me going was I just kept looking at the leads. And I was thinking like they're a patient. Like in the hospital, patients come, they don't know what's wrong, they need help, and they're asking, hey, we need help. I look at the lead like the same exact thing. I look like, I'm not going to show you guys the lead, but this person right here, they need my help. They're requesting help, and it's like I know I can help them. So I made sure that when I'm dialing, I kept that mentality that I'm the person that can help these people no matter what, and just keep going, keep pushing. I don't care if I get hung up on 100 times. There's going to be 100 people who will tell me yes. I just have to get to them.
Absolutely. And I think that mindset is huge. Like looking at the lead, like not like it's a piece of paper, right? Looking at the lead like it's a family. Like this isn't like, you know, like John Smith who never existed. This is John Smith who has a family and filled a form out and is looking for help. So I think that you being able to view it literally in a doctor-patient mindset that way, and the way that that clicked for you of like, okay, if I was at the hospital and I'm pulling my patient's chart, this is my patient's chart. I have to go figure out what's wrong, what's going on, right? So you kind of took those skills and applied them here, but it wasn't even necessarily a skill. It's just how your brain functions, right? Your brain said, doctor, patient, I can relate, right? So you grab that, and that's normal. And that's why we always talk about like who you're going to, like who's going to actually like, when they're speaking, who's going to hit home to you? It might not be me, it might not be Rami, it might not be Christina, it might not be Zach, but it might be Tony. We don't know who it's going to be, right? So that's why we always say, listen to the calls and see who you resonate with. Because Rami, you probably heard that doctor-patient mindset from Paul McLean 800 times in the training, right? Because we all talk about it, right? And then it's like, when you can hear that and then you can apply it, it feels really good because it makes sense, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So you got started really fast out of the gate. I'm pretty sure your first like actual issue paid week, you issued like, I don't know, close to like $5,000. And then that your first full month, you issued well over $20,000 in production, which is great on a part-time basis, a very, very part-time basis. So what are 3 non-negotiables that you have in place when it comes to business?
Okay, so 3 non-negotiables I have in place, and I wrote a couple of them down because there's a lot of non-negotiables, but there's 3 main ones to me that really stick out the most. And to me, it's basically I have to make it to the office when I'm dialing. Like always, I rented an office space for a reason. I need to be in a productive environment. I knew that me making it to the office would put me in the most successful position I can to win. So that's my first non-negotiable. My second non-negotiable would be if I put an appointment on my calendar, I will go to it. I'm not going to put something down on my calendar and not go to it. So if it's on my calendar, I'm going to it. And I learned that from Marisa. She told me if you ever put something on your calendar, you best go to it. So I stuck that with me, and it works because recently, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I had a client which was like 7 o'clock at night. I was really tired, really late. I didn't want to go to it. She was so rude on the phone. You have no idea. I thought she was going to no-show me, tell me that F off basically. But I ended up going there. She had 2 kids, 4 and 7, and she was really nice. And we ended up helping protect her and her family. So that showed me that, hey, get out of your comfort zone, go to the appointment, and just see what happens. And ever since then, it really resonates with me that make it your last appointment and go to any appointment on the calendar. And then lastly, my non-negotiable personally is I want to make sure I have 8 appointments whenever I'm running in the field. Now, whether that be, doesn't have to be 8 strong appointments, but no quick sets, 8 appointments that I went through the whole thing. I went through the script. I tied it down. They know I'm coming over. They know it's for mortgage protection. They know it's for final expenses. And just get 8 of those on my calendar. That's one of my non-negotiables. That's my third non-negotiable.
Okay, I love that. And, dialing at an office, you might say like, well, I don't have my own office or, whatever it might be. If you haven't heard of work spots, please get with me, get with your upline. Essentially, it's a way to plug into a Family First Life office in your area, so that you have other people around you dialing. You have that support, you have that accountability, so to say, and that's a really big deal. I love how you hit on those appointments on the calendar. I remember, talking to Rami, and he was like to me, oh, I have like 6, I think he told me he had 12, and I quote, 12 strong appointments. And then like 6 of them, are like not that strong. And I was like, so does that mean you have like 18? And at the time, this is like one of his first dial days. He's like, no, that means like, basically what he said was that means I have 6 that I'm going to go to. And I was like, okay. So then we had a conversation around that whole aspect of if there's an appointment on your calendar, that means that you said it. You said you were going to be there, so you have to go to it. And at that point, Rami stopped quick setting appointments, especially when, he is talking to, somebody who maybe doesn't speak English, and he tells them, hey, I'm coming over tomorrow at 7:30. I don't think Rami does that anymore because it wasn't working for him, right?
It was not. No.
But also kind of going hand in hand with that, it's like, what happens, Rami, if I'm on your schedule for tomorrow at 3 o'clock and, you're running your appointments, you're doing your day, and, I'm calling you to cancel. I call you, I leave you a message, hey, Rami, just don't come to my house tonight. I'm just going to cancel that appointment. Have a good day.
I'm not going to answer the phone call, one. And if I see the voicemail, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see it. I'm going to go to that appointment. It doesn't matter if they're trying to cancel, if they say they're tired, they're saying they're sick. I've even been going to a point they say they have COVID because they're just saying that. To be honest, honestly, like they're just saying that. They just don't want you there. And they really do have COVID. They're going to make it known when you get there. They're going to say, hey, buddy, I'm really sick. And you're going to see it. They're visibly sick. I'm like, all right, I got my mask. I'm 6 feet away. I'll see you later. We'll do it over Zoom or we can work it out. But I'll always go to anyone trying to cancel because I'm sure everyone can attest to this. Even you'll book a really, really strong appointment and even they'll try canceling. They just get scared to be sold or they just don't want a stranger in their house. And here's more of it. It's over the phone. Think of if we all got a random phone call and said, hey, you filled this form. I have all your information. I want to come over. And even like, all right, we did send this form in. It makes sense for them to be a little bit timid and be like, all right, like, do I really want this stranger coming to my house? But then again, it's our job to make them realize that, hey, we are giving you guys information you requested. We're licensed with the state. And we're here to help. We're not here to force anyone to do anything. We're just here literally to help you guys. And if you don't need to be helped, I'll walk out the door. I'll shut it many times. I've shut my iPad. I'm like, hey, you guys are covered. You have a policy from 15 years ago that I cannot, like, nothing I can do to help you. You're in a good situation. I can't make it better, so I'll leave. But if I can make the situation better, I'm not leaving. I can't tell you I will not leave until they literally understand that, hey, he is making my situation better. And thank you for being so persistent. And I'm happy that I began doing that as of late.
Absolutely. I think a lot of your clients have definitely thanked you for being so persistent, which is great. So follow, like, just do your job. When people cancel, they usually cancel out of a fear. They're fear of they can't afford it. Fear of what if this person comes in here and is trying to like hardcore close me. Fear of this person's going to be in my house for like 3 hours, or you know, they sounded old on the phone. I don't know. We can all make things up why this said person shouldn't be in the house, right? So they start overthinking, overanalyzing, and then like, you know, they're going to be home when they call you like 3 times, like, I'm not going to be there, so make sure that you don't come. That means they're definitely going to be there, so make sure that you go. And it sounds kind of, you know, crazy, but it's just the way that the brain works, you know. And what I will openly say too is, last year I issued, I think, about like 460 grand in business. And if I didn't go to my cancellations, I wouldn't have hit over 400 grand. There's no way. Because it's like, just like I tell Rami, just like I tell the whole team, if the appointment is on your calendar, you're obligated to go. You made that your obligation. You signed yourself up for it, literally. You picked the time, you picked the date, you told them you were going to be there, and now you have to be there. And then that 8 appointments whenever you're in the field, that's a big deal too, right? Because I know I've had days that I've went out and I said, oh, well, I'm going to make it like a shorter day or a more chill day or whatever, you know, excuse we kind of make in our head on that dial day. And like we set maybe like 3 appointments for Friday and 3 for Saturday, versus going for those 8. Have you been in that position, Rami? And kind of, if so, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, especially in the beginning. In the beginning, I did experience that position. I would at times, because I am working in the hospital as well, my run day may, like today, I'm dialing today, but I work tomorrow. So I'm not going to run any appointments until after 3:30, and then Saturday I have it off. So Saturday, I obviously would book it as normal. But in the very beginning, when I would work, I would only say, you know what, I'm on at 3:30. I'll only book a 4:30 or like a 5, and that's it. Don't book a 6:30, a 6, a 7, 7:30, and I would ignore that. And then obviously, like, that wouldn't work. It doesn't work. And why not? It's like, why not take the time and go see them? Especially the appointments at night are many of the best ones because they're home. Like, they're willing to meet you and they understand, like, hey, you're coming to my time. I should be relaxing to sleep, and I'm willing to talk to you about life and death. It's pretty serious to them. So at the end of the day, I've realized that just book a full schedule whenever you can. If you can't make it to the appointment because you get stuck at home, it's okay. But don't not make it because you don't want to go. So I definitely experienced that. And then over time, I just started booking a schedule and just booking it full. I don't mind if I double book, triple book, just fill it when I can and then see how the day plays out.
Absolutely. And like some people, you might be like, that sounds like it's a mess. But it's like, at the end of the day, no, now Rami has decisions when he's in the field of, where am I going to go? Why am I going to step left? Why am I going to step right? He has choices he can make through his schedule. So it's not conducted whether, if, you know, Susan's going to be home at 1 o'clock or not. And when Susan's not home, now Rami's day is shot, you know, like now it's like, okay, Susan's not home, so I can make it to my other appointment, you know, like, because I had that ready to go. So I think that that's really important. So I love those 3 non-negotiables. Dial at the office, go to all of your appointments on your calendar, and have 8 appointments set up for each and every run day so that you're setting yourself up to have a successful day. So those are great. And just really quickly, Rami, how many dials do you typically make during, you know, a regular dial session?
Oh boy, a lot. Let's say, so if you include phone burn and include by hand, way over 450, but I'd say at least 350 to 500, I think, a day I'd make per dials.
Awesome. And you call people 3 times back to back?
Yeah, I will. I'll call them 3 times back to back off my unlisted number. I'll then go through all my leads. I'll go through it again with a different number, and then I'll go through with my own personal direct line, and then I'll go through on private if I really feel like, you know what, they're going to answer. I'll just go through it private.
Got it. So again, is it always going to be 350 to 500 dials? No. But what we have to recognize too is in the beginning when we're working, you know, CRM leads, or even it's like funny because people will be like, oh, well, you have all the new leads. And like, till this day, I wonder what the new and the good leads are. I literally still don't know, because I'll get a brand new lead and like the person's like, go fly a kite. And I'm like, what? Like, I just got this yesterday, you know? So my point being is that there's always going to have to be repetition and dialing. And if we can't get past the dialing piece in our head, then there's really not anything else to talk about. And I don't say that in a mean way. I just say it in a way of, it is 90% of this business, if not more. So it's like, today is the day we're making our money. And then tomorrow and Saturday we go and we pick it up. That's how we have to look at it. We help people, we pick it up. We help people, we pick it up. So, so you went over how many appointments you set, and then what's your current lead strategy? So I know that you started all CRM, Rami, and you living in Massachusetts, I was able, you know, being so close, I was able to give you some of my old quote unquote leads. Yep. But outside of those, what does your current lead strategy look like? And what are you
So
probably spending on average every single week?
okay, so currently I'm buying CRM leads, definitely a lot. Like I buy a lot of the CRM anytime a chance. I'll go on, I'll buy it. I'll probably check it 5 different times I'm at work, and every day, like I have my alarm set, I'll check it. I do a couple mailer drop campaigns, and I'm doing a BPL program for filing expense currently. That's my current lead flow.
Okay, awesome. So you're adding stuff in each and every week.
Yeah, and I'm
Awesome.
probably for the cost reason. It's hard to say because guys, truthfully, I buy all the time. I'm not joking. I don't keep track of it. I literally just purchase as I can. Just recollecting back to my last lead purchase, I probably spent this week around 800 to 1,000 so far, and I still am gonna buy more leads for this week, for the weekend, and for Monday. So they'll probably get to like 1,500, I'd say, not including the mail drops and just the recurring purchases that are just gonna keep coming through.
Right, so you're just getting as many leads in your hands as you possibly can to make sure that you're setting up for
Oh yeah,
success. So,
it's a numbers game. I'm sure everyone on this call can attest to that. It truthfully is a numbers game. So I don't care how many leads I can get. I'm grabbing them and I'm just gonna call them.
absolutely. And you know, another thing I do just want to kind of hit on, just because I don't know if there's confusion. So with Rami saying that he books those 8 appointments, like when he's talking about like being like part-time. So if you're full-time and you're on this call, it's 8 appointments Tuesday, 8 appointments Wednesday, 8 appointments Friday, 8 appointments Saturday. That's going to bring you to a total of about 32 appointments. Clearly, I'm not that good at math. My point is, though, is when you're a full-time agent, you should be running 30 appointments a week. That's your goal. If you're not running that, you have to scale it. Just like Rami said, it's a numbers game. If you're running 15 for the whole week, you have to at least have that in front of your face and say, okay, I realized I was only able to set 15 appointments this week. How can I increase my appointment ratio? Or what do I need to change, tweak, adjust so I can get to that 30 appointments a week? Because if we think about it like this, on a 4-week month, right, we set 30 appointments a week. That's 120 appointments that we're going to set. Are we going to sit with all 120? Probably not. But at the same time, it's that those first 100 homes that you're in are so crucial. It's like, Rami, what does it look like even today from the first day you started? You know a lot more in home, right? Because you're learning at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you call from every home, which we're going to get there in a second. But really just making sure, like, so even like with Rami running part-time, his schedule is all over the place. It's like not a set schedule or anything like that. But what he does is he goes into his like appointment book and he says, okay, I'm working on this day, I'm dialing on this day, working on this day, whatever it might be. You know, I'm at the hospital this day. So being really scheduled, but also that 8-8-8-8, if you can make that happen, you can't lose. Like, I don't care if you go in the house and you say, hi, my name's Marisa, I'm here to sell you life insurance. Do you want it? Someone's gonna say, yeah, I promise you. Even if that was the best you got, like, because sometimes, you know, like you might go in and you don't know what you said, and that's okay. But even if you set 30 appointments in a week and you went into all of your appointments and said that, some of them are gonna buy. Like, they're just gonna buy. They would buy from me, you, they buy from anybody on this call. That they just needed insurance. So don't lose sight of that. And then I think that this is really important in, you know, the getting started piece of things, Rami. Like, when you were getting started, how much time did you spend on product knowledge?
None. Like, I'll be very honest. In the very beginning, as everyone has, when they first start, they think they need to know product information. So, of course, when I first started, like the first couple of days, I was looking into it, trying to figure out underwriting. Because, you guys, mind you, I come from a medical background. I work in a hospital. So I thought that because I know the medications already, I know the diagnoses, I know how they're treated, I know how they can be used, that I would know the products. That's false, because there's so many different medications that can be used for so many different things. And even I should have known that. But anyway, so at that point in time, I would try to look at underwriting. I realized that I'm wasting so much time and energy doing that, and it wasn't getting me anywhere. I was still entering a home and looking at this medication and saying, I don't know how to go. So I would just call. I would just call my upline. And at that point, that's where all my product information comes from. Even to this day, even with all the homes I've been in, all the families I sat with and helped, I will always call. And even if they are on no medications, I'm still calling. Marisa and Christina can attest to that. I'll call them and say, I'm sitting with Shirley. She's 20 years old, completely healthy. And what's the best route to go? I don't care. I'm just going to call. Because it's just make it a habit. And then it'll end up working out in your favor.
Absolutely. And I think you've done it in a way too, like you just build credibility by, you know, I'm just going to reach out. It's another voice. And I don't know, like for you guys, but for me, for anything that I take serious and I'm going to be purchasing, like for myself or whatever it might be, it's like, I do want a second opinion. I do want to know that this is the right choice. Or, you know, even like at the doctors, it's like, is this the right way to go? Like, I never mind a second opinion. So it's the same kind of deal in the home. So product knowledge again. So Rami, I remember he, you know, being on the phone with him and just talking with him when he was getting started. He was like, oh, like I'm looking at like the HMS underwriting guidelines. If you are looking at those, like I love you all, but you're wasting so much time, like on everything I love. Like if someone had a gun to my head, like I can't like read those guidelines. I don't necessarily know the answer to every question, but I know how to kind of lead, guide, and direct at this point. But it's not because I read the underwriting guidelines. It's because I've been in so many homes and with so many different scenarios that I kind of know which way to go at this point. Sometimes I do have to double check the guideline or things like that, but in no way, shape, or form am I studying it. It should just be like a sheet maybe you bring with you, like a final expense cheat sheet. Cool, print that out, bring it with you. Mortgage cheat sheet, cool, print it out, bring it with you. But don't use it like I need to study this, like because someone's like, because you know, so I'm gonna have a test. So your test is, can I get into a house? That's the test. Can I get into a house? If you can get yourself into a house, just call from the home. That's it. So Rami, thank you for making that part easy. You always call from the home. Like you said, even if it's that healthy 20-year-old, you're definitely still calling. So with that being said, you going into a home, what does that look like now for you? Like from the day that you had started with FFL, like going into a home to now, it's been how long, Rami?
So it's been about, I'd say, a little over 3 months now. So in July, so it'll be August. Yeah, a little over 3 months.
Okay, so you've probably been into like 100 homes now.
Around there, yeah. I'm definitely approaching up to the 100 mark. Or if
Awesome.
it's past, probably passed already, but yeah, around there.
For sure. And with that being said, like how would you say that you looked at an appointment maybe in the beginning versus how you look at an appointment now when you're going into the house and you're sitting with that family?
Okay, so it's kind of funny. So in the beginning, I was a little like nervous at times, and ironically enough, this is backwards, mind you, but when I was booking the appointments, especially in the very beginning, entering a home, I was really excited to meet with someone who's single. Now, I know that may sound a little backwards. Like, why do you want to meet with someone single? I don't know why. In my mind, I just got nervous. It was a husband and wife. I was like, there's two more people, two different opinions. I have to try to talk to both of them. I was in my head. So in the very beginning, that was definitely a factor, like a mental wall I had to kind of just leap and kind of get through. And then once I got through it, now I hate single people. I love all of them. I'm joking. No, but I like, if I see a married lead, I think I know how to approach it much better. And especially while I'm in home, I'm not nervous anymore talking to them. I understand how to explain to them that you guys are a 2-income household. You're going to be reduced to a 1-income household, etc. The kids, the family, the whole 9 bills, you name it. In the very beginning, I was entering homes and thinking of the product, and not product like information, but kind of what am I gonna like show them? What am I gonna pitch to them? Not thinking about looking at their actual need and situation, and then looking at a program that I have in my arsenal that would actually benefit them. Instead, I was doing a little bit backwards. I was thinking about what would benefit me and not them. And then over time, of course, that changed, and I realized that I should not be doing that, and that I should really focus on the family itself. And that's kind of the mindset I have now, and that I'll forever keep. Just focus on what they need, assess the situation, assess the risk, and see what they qualify for, and then show them the benefit. If you can put them in a better situation than they're in now, just make sure you do that.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, like since you noticed that, what you noticed it pretty early on that, you know, your close ratio went up, like because you're walking in there with care, you're looking at the kids, you're looking at the wife, you're looking at the husband, you're looking at what does it actually look like if said person isn't here tomorrow. So I think that when you go in with that mindset and you look at it that way, it's a lot easier to paint pictures. It's a lot easier to have a conversation about it. And it's like that conversation that nobody wants to have. We want to make sure they never have to have it again. And that's what I always tell them too. It's like, no one wants to talk about death and finances. So let's basically wrap this party up and make sure that you don't ever have to talk about it again. Right. And that's helpful. And like, you know, when you go in with a serving heart, essentially, you're always going to come out, you know, better. So I think that's a huge point. And then that mental wall that you spoke about, I think that everything in this business, like, you know, if we talk about, okay, yes, it is the phones, but picking up the phones goes down to mental, right? how are we looking at the leads? Who are we calling? You know, do we feel like we can mentally do it that day? Did we wake up distraught? Did we have a bad morning? Was the dog being a pain in the butt? Were the kids being a pain in the butt? Whatever it might be in your scenario, it's like, how do you get yourself back? You know, how do you break that mental wall down of, okay, it's dial day, I'm focused, I'm in the office, I'm here, I'm present. And I think that you do a really good job of bringing that back and kind of just reeling it in and realizing, okay, I'm here. And when I'm here, I'm going to be here, right? Like no matter where you are. It's like, if you're with your mom, you're with your mom, right? If you're at the hospital, you're at the hospital. If you're with the family, you're with the family. So it's just about kind of being able to break down that mental wall of, okay, we're just calling people who fill the form out in some way, shape, or form, and we're trying to help them out. They get, honestly, when people get like yell at me on the phone, like I'm just like, okay, like I'll be like, Zach, I hope you have a better day, man. Like, you know, like that's literally like, because it's like, why am I gonna yell back at them? So I get upset? Like, you know what I mean? Like just end the call. It's not that deep. And then just to kind of wrap up a couple of things. So what are 3 things you would tell an agent who's in pre-licensing or just got their license in regards to getting up and going with FFL?
I would definitely say, for one, follow the system. 110% follow the system. It's proven to work. Follow it. Go through the pre-licensing, finish it in 10 days if you can. Try as hard as you can, finish it in 10 days. Take your test, schedule your test first thing. Before you even start the pre-licensing, schedule it. So that way you have a deadline. So you're like, all right, I have to finish by this point, and then hopefully you finish right for the test, and then all the information is still fresh. Follow the system, of course. Another thing I would say is, don't get too high, don't get too low. Even when you finish pre-licensing and you start dialing and you book 20 appointments your first week and you're killing it, and then the second week you book 3. Don't let that get to you. Just remember, you did book that 20, and then it's possible that you might book 3. But remember, you did book 20. So you should always look to the silver lining, that if you got it once, you can always do it again. I always look at it like a basketball game. I used to play basketball when I was younger, and if I can score 20 points against a center, I can score 20 points against anybody. I don't care who I'm facing against. I know my ability. I know my skill. And just apply that mindset here in FFL. If you can do it once, you can do it again. And especially the great part about this business is that it's duplicatable. So if someone else did it before you, see what they're doing, modify it to fit your personality, and just do it again. And then you'll win.
Awesome. Love that. So the biggest copycat wins. So copy, move fast, break things like that. That's what you want to do. And Rami, so thanks for moving fast. And kind of last thing to wrap it up. How do you think getting started fast has contributed to, you know, you being successful in the field, being so part-time and limited, issuing well over 20 grand a month, going to that 30K a month? Do you think that you would be where you are now if you had kind of like lagged everything a little bit? Like you were like, oh, I'm just gonna like do the boot camp and take like a month to do it, and like you just kind of dragged everything out. Like, what do you think that would look like now, and why?
So no, I definitely think that if I dragged it out, I would not have been as successful, because as you keep saying in this call, like you want to move fast and break things. And that's really true. Like you want to have massive action, massive correction. And the fact that I was able to move so fast and just kind of mess up early, I was able to correct those mistakes and realize, hey, don't say that at home. Don't give a client a range of numbers. Don't try to ask them what do they want. Show them what they want, and kind of just understand that, hey, if there's a husband and wife, talk to them. Say, hey guys, if this person's no longer here anymore, what does that really look like for you? Not just, oh, I don't know, we didn't talk about it. No, let's talk about it. What does it look like? Because you don't want to fill the form out again. You don't want someone else to come out here. And what if you don't like them? I always say that to them. Like, what if you guys don't like them? I know you guys love me, and I always make a joke in the home. Like, I know you guys love me already, and you haven't really spoken too much. But what if someone else you guys don't like? Just keep that mentality, really. You just really want to just mess up early, get messy, and it's okay. It's okay to get messy. We all have. But then once you clean up, you're going to be happy you got messy to begin with.
Absolutely. That was very well said. Yes. So again, moving fast and breaking things. And if you had waited that 2-3 months, it might start scaring you, right? You almost like might mentally trick yourself. Like, this is too hard, or I can't do
it.
this.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right?
And then you would think, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, so you would think that you can't, and then you put a limiting belief on yourself. You would think, I can't make these dials, or I can't close these homes, or it doesn't matter how many people I talk to, or how many people I say, well, I just can't do it. That's not the case. You can do it. Everyone on this call can do it, and you all know that. So just make sure that you just get out there and just practice and keep going, and then everyone on this call will soon be where they want to be in life, and I know that for a fact.
Awesome, Rami. Thank you so much for being on with us today. And yeah, I just think that it shouldn't go unsaid that when you come into this business, you're going to be confused. Like there's going to be things that you're just like, that doesn't make sense to me. Or I normally wouldn't do that. Or like, I don't want to call someone 3 times back to back, or I don't want to challenge a client, right? Rami talked about how he went from challenging a client to how much do you think it costs, right? Like that, don't do that. It doesn't work, just like you said. To what does it look like if, John didn't come home tomorrow, right? That's an appropriate challenge to a client because that's why they filled the form out. So I think that once you get up, you get going and you do that quickly, it gets that, like, you're not scared anymore. You know what to expect. Like, Rami, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like when Rami goes into the field, you're not like, oh my God, like Susan at 2 o'clock, I'm freaking out. But it's because you got over your learning curve, right? Your first couple of weeks, you were like, Susan at 2 o'clock, she was really mean on the phone. Like now it's like, you don't even remember, right?
No, now I'm excited to get to Susan. I'm like, all right, Susan, I hope you're there. I'll be there at 1:30. See you then.
Right. So the perspective kind of changes, a mindset shift. And, it just, when you get licensed, if, you're nervous, you're scared, whatever it might be, you might be excited, a whole thing of emotions could be going on at the same time. But getting that license quickly is key. You don't want to feel the test like I did 4 times. By the way, that is not common. I want to just put that out there. There's probably nobody else on this call that failed it 4 times. So I don't want to scare anybody when I'm saying that. It's not common. So I just got really lucky. Kidding. But my point is get licensed quickly. Once you get licensed, don't be scared to reach out for help. I used to be like, oh, I'm so annoying and like things like that. I would like literally tell my upline like I was annoying. And like, they're like, it's annoying that you keep calling me and saying that. Just call me and ask me what you need and I got you because that's what I told you. So it's the same thing, guys. It's like getting out there, like you make your first lead order. Dial the leads. What is the worst thing that can happen to you on the phone? You get hung up on, you don't make appointments. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just start moving. Don't make excuses like, oh, I'm going to start after like the holidays. I'm going to start after this. No, you're not. It's like me saying, I'm going to start a diet. Like, I know I'm not going to start a diet at this point. I'm just not. I'm not good at it. I don't want to. I'm not disciplined enough. I eat 1 time a day. That's my diet. Okay. Just like, so it's like, I know I'm not going to change that. No matter how many times I say, oh, I'm going to try to start implementing small meals during, like, no, you're not, Marisa. Stop lying to yourself. So it's the same thing on any other, like with anything in life. Don't hold it off. Don't push it off. It's just going to get harder. So coming in, don't feel like you're ever annoying your upline. If your upline ever tells you that you're annoying, like, just call me because I won't tell you that you're annoying. And yeah, I mean, you have so much support throughout this group. If you're on this call, everybody in this group, to the best of my knowledge, would be more than happy to talk to you if there's some help that they could offer. So just don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of who's around you and who's here to help. But Rami, thank you so much for being on with us today. I know that the call did go a little bit long, but one thing I do want to wrap up with is holiday objections on the phone. And I want to just wrap up with this because I know like Thanksgiving's around the corner and like now it's like the time like, oh, can you call me after Thanksgiving? That's like the person who's like, oh, I verified all my information, but now you're coming to my house. So like now I have COVID, right? Like it's the excuse maker. So we want to just be proactive on that. And this is going to kind of go throughout the holidays and it's easier to be, it's easier to be proactive. Agreed, Valerie, agreed. It's easier to be proactive than to be reactive in any situation, especially on the phones, right? So if I'm calling, I'm calling Valerie and Valerie answers the phone and says, oh, can you call me after Thanksgiving? It's like, no, Valerie, because when I opened up the call, it sounded like, hey, Valerie, this is Marisa, just giving you a quick call about, your mortgage on 123 Main Street in Malden, about the form you filled out, sent back to us. You remember that? She's like, yeah, I verify all of her information. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, hey, Valerie, so they have me wrapping up with some others in your area here before Thanksgiving. Keywords, before Thanksgiving. They, again, we're blaming they have me wrapping up, right? So it's not like my control. They have me wrapping up in your area before Thanksgiving because there's so many requests. So it does just take about 15 minutes. I go back to the script. I'm just implementing that small little line of they have me wrapping up with everyone in your area before the holidays, or they have me wrapping up in your area before Thanksgiving specifically. And that's going to carry out obviously after Thanksgiving, through the holidays, etc. So that is totally fine. But we want to make sure if we are getting those objections that we're being proactive about them. And I know that I've mentioned this before, but the fourth quarter in this business is everything. It's people are thinking about their families. Like even think about like for some of you guys, if you could just reflect, like, have we thought about Thanksgiving and who we're going to spend it with? Have we thought about Christmas? Have we thought about who do we need to buy gifts for maybe, or, whatever, your belief is, right? Like if it's, Kwanzaa, whatever it might be. We've all thought about these things, but it's like, okay, we're wrapping up before then. Like guys, if we're all being real and we're in a home, and even if we're really slow in a home, like we're not in there for more than an hour, like tops. That's like the e-app is messing up, like your day can't go right and you're in there for an hour, right? It's like, we're not asking them to take off Tuesday from work so that we can come over, right? Like we're saying, hey, we need 15 minutes. Like, let's wrap this party up. So basically they have me wrapping up before the holidays. If somebody says, well, can we just do it after Thanksgiving? Again, Valerie, I'd love to do it after Thanksgiving, but they have me wrapping up in your area before the holidays. So again, I can put you in for tomorrow, Friday, or Saturday. What day is better? I'm reverting back to the script. So anytime I'm going to address that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask a question that's going to benefit me. So reverting back, if I don't revert back to my script, like I would lose like 50% of my appointments. And I know that because I've just been doing this so long that it's like till this day, when I don't do that, I'm like, wow, Marisa, you're an idiot. You should have just went back to, so is Friday or Saturday better, right? Or like, I could do Friday at 3 or 5. What's better, right? So just getting them back to where, you need their thought process to be of like, Valerie, I don't need your whole day. I need 15 minutes. Okay. Like, she's like, all right, cool. So wrapping up before the holidays, and also people are thinking about their families. So it's like, if you're not here, there isn't Christmas. Like, it doesn't really, like, does it really, I'm not, there's not. Like, so obviously crazy things happen all the time throughout the whole year, but especially during the holidays, traffic, drunk drivers, all these crazy things. I know I said this on the last call too, but we've probably all heard a story of something terrible happening to somebody that we know throughout the holidays. And it's like, we want to make sure that we're almost like remembering that, because it's like, you might sit in a home and they might say, oh, can we get this started in January? Like, no, Valerie, we can't get it started in January because I'm not sure of like if you're going to be here. And if you want to do this, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get it started today. So God forbid, on Thanksgiving, you were to have a heart attack, the coverage is in place. Because if not, you might not qualify. Boom. So it's like, almost like we're gonna do it today or we're not. And I think that also goes back to your setup. Again, I'm not gonna hit too hard on this, and I know I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but I hope that this is helpful. But it's like, just at the beginning of the appointment, like you're making sure that your role and purpose is strongly set so that you're not getting that objection at the end. Whether it's, can we do it after, after December? Can we start it in January? Can we start after Thanksgiving? Like, no, Zach, I just came in your house and told you we're going to take the application today. So that's what we're going to do, because I do what I say I'm going to do, right? So that's really what we're kind of showing the client too in there. And again, it's not an aggressive approach. It's a matter of fact, like, what does this actually look like, right? So again, just like Rami talked about, going from, not really caring to actually, challenging clients appropriately. That's how we win. So holiday objections, I'm wrapping up before the holidays, using they as an excuse. Whoever they are, I don't know who they are, but I blame they for everything. They have me wrapping up. So when we're using verbiage like that, it's like, okay, fine. Like, they're trying to work with you usually, because they're like, okay, like, I don't want to, stress this girl or guy out anymore. They have them in the area, until before Thanksgiving, he says. So that should really help you guys out with some holiday objections. I have a video I had made last year that we could go ahead and post. It's a really short one. It just has a couple of great points in there about holiday objections. So if you are getting them, YouTube, or just call my phone. I got you guys. But other than that, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns that they want to add in? Feel free to unmute yourself if so.
I just want to say thank you for that. That was actually something I was going to bring up. But yes, I've been dealing with it all day long. It's my first holiday season. Been able to book up some appointments, but naturally, yeah, people are, can you call me after the new year? This, that. I'm like, bro, like, Thanksgiving's still a week away. You got like 5 days between now and then. What are you talking about?
Absolutely, exactly. So yep, stay focused on that for sure. Anybody else?
There's a
Hi.
video posted in Slack too, the holiday objection video.
All right,
If
perfect.
you're not in the Slack group, you should be. So text me if you need to be added to it.
I had a question. I had a woman tell me that can I call her after Thanksgiving because she recently lost her husband and she's mourning. Should I call her back? To
So
try to book?
I was gonna say it's tough, you know, but at the same time, it's like she filled the form out, so she knows she needs it, and and I'm not being insensitive when I say this at all, but it's just like she knows she needs it. I would try to like get there, not in an aggressive way, but just in a way of like, hey, let me just help you out. Let's bang this out, because even in a month from now, she's still gonna be mourning her husband, you know. And okay, Tim, go for it.
I was just gonna say, if you have her information, you can send her a sympathy card too, and that gives you a reason to call. So
Love
Thank
that.
you.
Love that, Tim. Thank you for adding that in.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, anybody else? All right, perfect. Well, if anybody needs anything, please feel free to reach out to me. I know a couple of you guys are gonna be connecting with after this call, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I hope you all have a great day. And again, remember that next Thursday, we are going to have to reschedule the call because it's Thanksgiving, which I just thought of that on my head. But we will figure that out and we'll let you know, but that will be starting the month of December. So let's wrap it up strong. If anybody needs anything, reach out, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Thursday. Bye, guys.